In the year 2025, the galaxy was a vast web of stars ruled by ancient alien empires that had long forgotten compassion. Humanity, though spread across hundreds of worlds, was still treated as a lesser race. Workers, miners, and soldiers hired to fight wars they did not start. For decades, humans endured the insults, the exploitation, and the arrogance of the Galactic Union, believing that patience and diplomacy would one day earn them respect. But that hope began to fade when the freighter Eden Star was destroyed above the mining world of Varela 9. The ship carried over 3,000 civilians, families, engineers, and scientists, and its destruction by a Union patrol was justified as a security mistake. The footage of human bodies floating in the cold void spread across the networks, and the galaxy saw what the Union called a misunderstanding. Anger rose across the human colonies like a storm. On Mars, workers threw down their tools. On Titan, soldiers removed their Union badges and burned them in public squares. The message was clear. Enough was enough. President Arya Endoro, leader of the Terran Confederacy, called an emergency meeting of the Human Council. Inside a vast chamber orbiting Earth, generals, diplomats, and scientists gathered, their faces tense with suppressed fury. Arya stood at the center, calm yet burning with a quiet fire. Reports came from frontier colonies, human children taken for cultural education, trade routes seized, ambassadors mocked. It was not just injustice anymore. It was humiliation written into law. Arya listened to the arguments, some urging restraint, others crying for war. But when a live message arrived showing alien soldiers forcing human settlers from their homes on a distant moon, something inside her hardened. She turned to the council and said, "We will not beg for peace again. We will make it." Her words spread faster than light. That night, 1,000 ships lifted from hidden bases dark against the stars. The galaxy did not know it yet, but humanity's patience had finally broken. The Six-Day War had begun. On the first day, human fleets struck 27 alien strongholds simultaneously. Using silent engines and cloaked drives, they appeared from nowhere and vanished before anyone could react. Entire defense networks collapsed. The aliens, long confident in their superiority, were caught off guard by the precision of human tactics. For centuries, they had mocked human engineering, never realizing the depth of human creativity. Now they saw warships forged from asteroid metal, firing energy that bent through shields, and drones that learned in real time. By the end of day one, 5 alien fleets were gone. The broadcasts were unstoppable. Humans had made sure the whole galaxy could see. On distant worlds, enslaved workers cheered. The Galactic Council met in emergency session, their composure shattered. One alien minister shouted, "They are supposed to be weak. How can they fight like this?" But no one had an answer. As human ships advanced deeper into enemy space, the galaxy trembled. Even those who once saw humans as harmless began to fear what they might become. On day 2, President Arya stood on the bridge of the flagship Soul's Vow, watching the holographic map flicker with battles won. The faces of her crew reflected a mix of awe and sorrow. They were not fighting for conquest. They were fighting for dignity. She whispered to herself, "Let this end quickly." Reports came in. Alien fleets scattering, surrender signals flickering. Yet deep inside her, Arya knew the worst was yet to come. At the edge of the galaxy, a massive alien armada was forming, a coalition desperate to crush the uprising before it reached their core worlds. Humanity-S scouts intercepted a single message from that armada before being destroyed. They must be stopped before the 6th day, or the Union will fall. The recording ended with static. Arya stared at it for a long time, her reflection shimmering in the screen. Outside, the stars seemed to pulse like a heartbeat, as if the galaxy itself waited for what came next. Humanity had risen from silence, and now the universe would hear their voice. As the Soul's Vow turned toward the heart of the enemy systems, the crew braced for what was to come. Somewhere out there, an alien council prepared their final weapon. Somewhere else, a human fleet prepared their final stand. The first day had shaken the galaxy. The second would decide its fate. And for the first time in history, the stars whispered one truth. The age of human submission was over, and the age of human defiance had begun. The second day of the war began with silence, a silence that spread across the galaxy like the calm before a storm. Every species watched their screens, waiting for the humans to strike again, waiting to see if the fury that had begun on Varela 9 would burn the entire Union to ashes. On the flagship Sol's Vow, President Arya N. Doro stood with her commanders as a sea of blue lights marked enemy fleets moving toward human space. The Galactic Union had gathered everything it had, thousands of warships, centuries of arrogance, and the belief that no young race could ever defeat them. Arya's eyes never left the display. "Let them come," she said quietly. "They still think we're asking for mercy." When the first enemy wave appeared, humanity's strategy unfolded with terrifying precision. Using quantum-linked AIs, human ships vanished from radar and reappeared behind enemy lines. Their weapons did not aim to destroy cities or civilians. Instead, they targeted command centers, supply ships, and energy grids. Every shot was deliberate, every move planned. On the third day, the aliens realized the truth. Humans weren't fighting with rage, but with control. Their patience hadn't turned into madness. It had turned into mastery. The ancient species who once ruled the stars began to panic. Across the galaxy, rebellions erupted on planets long ruled by fear. Non-human workers joined human forces, inspired by the sight of a species that refused to kneel. On the fourth day, Arya appeared on every channel in the galaxy. Her face was calm, her voice steady. "We asked for peace. You gave us chains. We asked for respect. You gave us silence. Today we speak in the only language you understand. Truth backed by action." Her words echoed in alien languages across 1,000 worlds. Soldiers dropped their weapons. Civilians filled the streets demanding peace. Even alien officers began to question their leaders. By the fifth day, the Galactic Council had lost control. Its fleets retreated, its generals defected, and its colonies declared independence. Humanity's fleet surrounded the alien capital, Rhetheon Prime, a planet known for its towers of crystal and oceans that shimmered like glass. The human commanders asked Arya for her final order. She stared at the planet for a long time, then said, "Disable them. Don't destroy them." Energy pulses rippled through space, shutting down every defense network, every cannon, every engine. The entire capital fell silent, not in fire, but in peace. The war that had shaken the galaxy was ending not in blood, but in understanding. On the sixth and final day, Arya walked into the Galactic Council chamber, where frightened alien leaders awaited judgment. She placed the human flag beside theirs and said, "We are not your enemies. We are your equals." Her words were met with stunned silence. The council surrendered not to force but to truth. The 6-day war was over. Across the stars, people, human and alien alike, celebrated the end of fear. The Terran Confederacy did not seize planets or take slaves. Instead, they founded the Galactic Accord, a promise that no species would be ruled by another again. The war that had begun with fury ended with unity. The galaxy would never be the same. As the sun rose over Earth, President Arya stood on the balcony of the new Galactic Peace Hall. Below her, crowds cheered, waving banners that shimmered in the morning light. A young cadet approached her, eyes wide with wonder, and asked softly, "Was it worth it?" Arya looked at the horizon where night met dawn and answered, "Peace never comes free, but now it belongs to everyone." She turned toward the stars, their light brighter than ever before. The galaxy that once ignored humanity now looked to them for hope. The 6-day war had not shattered the galaxy, it had remade it. And for the first time in history, the stars belonged to all.